Ready Check Radio. What's up, Internet? Welcome once again to the Relic Grind, Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast, brought to you by Ready Check Radio. It's Thursday. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. That means it's time for a show. The newest girl is in chat, so we're allowed to start. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man, as always. Might be a little bit of a shorter show today, and that's okay. That's okay. People got stuff to do in 14. We don't want to take up all your time, but we do have some 14 stuff. We'll give you updates on what we've been doing in 6.2 since our review on last week's episode. If you missed that, you can catch that on ReadyCheckRadio.com. All of our episodes of this show, Gaming Gumbo, our weekly wrap-up show, and even Snowbound before we put the Blizzard show on hiatus, are available there and on our YouTube. Just head on over to ReadyCheckRadio.com. Check them out. Click all those socials in the upper right-hand corner. Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Audible, Amazon Music, all of that stuff. iTunes, Spotify. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a review. Give it a subscribe. Throw a comment on there if you like what we do here. We very much appreciate it. You'd be surprised how much your follow, your like helps. So, with that said, joining me today, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth. What's up, sir?
Greetings, programs. Yeah, it's been a week. Let's see. We dipped into Savage. That was fun. We'll talk about that. I'm shiny Pokemon hunting. Rare animal hunting. So, yeah, that's fun. And, yeah, getting some leveling back in now that the 6.2 shenanigans has settled.
The dust is settling. Yes, so we'll take a look at everybody's update on what they've been doing. I'm sure this one will have a lot of updates for us, this one being Adam Lane. What's up, Kronos?
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff, except for that leveling stuff he was talking about. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you haven't had that one in a while.
Yeah.
How long you been Omni?
Oh, God.
I just have
like
no desire to get Omni.
I'm
There's
pretty
just classes
sure
that I don't enjoy playing, so guess what? I don't play them.
It might have been within the first month of Endwalker. It was definitely within the first 6 weeks, for sure.
Nice.
That was Omni 90. Yeah.
All right, before we get into updates on what we've been doing and where we're at in 6.2, by the way, let us know where you're at and your final review patch score when you get it ready in the comments below. I got to get ultimate updates, gentlemen. I didn't get them last week. I gave you the week off. It was 6.2. We were talking about and reviewing the entire patch, so I got to get ultimate updates. We'll start with you, Tark. Where are you?
So I got with a fourth group, my fourth attempt at doing this. Had a tryout. It was a little rusty because I hadn't played in a while. And
they made you do the old audition, huh?
Yeah, they made me do the whole audition.
Did they take you into Dragon Song, or did they go do something
Dragon
else?
Song. Yeah,
okay.
Dragon Song.
Well, I just was wondering what they would have you audition with.
Sure. And we got to Eyes a couple times.
I would have taken you to Karazhan.
Yeah. Let me load up World of Warcraft. But apparently things were not going good behind the scenes even. So the day after the entire group disbanded, I'm like, well, what the hell would this was a tryout for then?
That's like auditioning for a theater and then having it burned down the next day.
So I basically resigned myself to just get it during some other patch cycle at this point. Focused on Savage now, so.
He's like, Kronos, he's just like, I'll solo it 2 expansions from now. He's like, forget it. I'm done.
That. Come on.
If only.
I'm done. Right. I know. I tease. Kronos, where you at, boss?
We're pretty much on in Rage Prog. We've seen, I think our lowest was like 14%.
Ooh.
So we just need to have the run where like no one dies to anything on the last phase and he'll die. It's just, 19 minutes to get there. And not, in a 3-hour night. So yeah, the stars have to align a little bit, but we're getting close.
We need a little bit of luck. A lot of skill got you there. A little luck will push you over the finish line. That's all. So we're going to start by talking about the Savage before we get into some other things we've been doing in 6.2, because that is the new thing that launched this week, right? Well, one of the two, I guess you could say. We'll get to the other one, which none of us are participating in, but we'll talk about it briefly. The Savage did launch. So we've got 5, 6, 7, and 8 circles Savage mode. I usually don't do Savage the week of release. I usually just kind of get some more of my gear pieces and whatnot, and then I venture in week 2 when everybody's a little less angry at each other for wipes on something that just launched. Not worried about me. I'm worried about other people. So I'm just like, I'll take it off. So I have not jumped into Savage yet. I have watched a few people, not guides, but watched their progression, I guess you would say, as far as hopping into Savage the first times and watching some of the fights. So I do know some of the more interesting mechanics in some of the fights, although I have not experienced them firsthand. We were, in my book, we were definitely right, gentlemen. For as every little bit of maybe this was a little easier raid cycle, in my personal opinion, some of those Savage mechanics look absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, and that's what we kind of predicted last week. I'll defer to you two, though, assuming both of you have gotten in there, but before the show, Kronos, you informed me that the free company has made a pact. So you are pugging this right now.
Yeah. I think I had mentioned this a few weeks back. So, like, you know, our tank is kind of burnt out, but he wants to kill DSR before he takes a break from the game. So, like, our whole thing is we're not, as a group, we agreed we wanted to kill DSR first. And we have members that, you know, they only play a couple times a week. So, the DSR, that's it. Like, that's what they log in. We do DSR, they log out. So we're not going into Savage as a group until we kill DSR. So I have been pugging for the last 3 days. It's been fun, though. So I got my 5 and I got my 6 clear.
So
literally got my 6
halfway
clear.
Home.
Depends on how you look at it, because P8S is I mean,
yep.
If you look at like the world first stuff, it was pretty interesting this time. I think a lot of people.
Newest girl is right though, and I was going to bring this up when we talked about world first. The extra gear might actually be making a bigger difference than some people thought.
It did.
Obviously, we all thought it was going to make a difference, but the question was, how big of a difference is it going to make? And some of these world first guilds really don't seem to be punching the enrages, and we've seen some different free companies in the mix for world first here than the normal contenders too.
Yeah, it was really P8S this time. She's right. Like, 7 died, or the third fight died much faster this go round than the last couple times. So I think gear definitely helped there. But that door boss is
no joke.
Yeah, like, there's a reason why world first took 24 hours just on that fight. It's gonna be. I mean, people are already saying it's harder than Shiva on content, so I'm interested to get in there. I don't think I'm going to get my clear on that for at least a little bit, but we'll see. But I think the gear helps until you get there, and then I think you need the gear for that fight, at least a little bit of it. And I've even seen people complaining about the underperforming jobs, people swapping off those in the door boss because some of them are having trouble getting the DPS to kill it. So that's kind of a problem. I hope that they address that maybe a little bit. I still think this game is insanely balanced, but it kind of sucks to see like really good players opt in to switch even when they like usually commit to a job because they just feel like they can't get it done, or it gives them just a little bit more leeway. You know, kind of sucks.
Right.
But
Tark, where are you? Have you dabbled in the Savage yet?
Yeah, my team dabbled. We put in 3 hours. We go Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
So
we put
right
in 3
after
hours.
the show here.
Yeah, a little bit after. Yeah. So we've bumped our heads against the first boss in P5. He's a pain in the butt. And if this is an indication, man, like these bosses are gonna hit like freaking trucks.
Oh yeah.
And Kronos has already told me that every boss, every tank buster drops a damage over time of some sort. So it's like, Jesus, mother of.
I think that's their answer to like tanks and healers. Kind of like after the stuff goes out, they kind of do whatever. And now I think Square's like, yeah, you're gonna use those buttons we gave you. Because every tank buster has a potent dot.
I'm using all the buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a little added benefit after the fact on a lot of the tank busters. So here's the thing now. It's been a week, and obviously people are still going to, do their progression and clear it, and I'll do mine, and you'll do yours and everything. But I think it is now safe to say we could lock in a reasonable decision now. Was releasing Savage a week later the right call? Because it is in a test phase, as Yoshi P says. They're not committed. We've spoken before saying that we kind of like this approach, but now that we've seen the world first race really just open and close pretty quickly, and generally it does anyway, but I do think things were a little faster this time around for a lot more teams than it normally is. Was it the best thing to do? Tark, last week, you liked the idea of being able to log off of the show and just maybe go do whatever the hell you wanted. Go grab a sandwich, come in, do some Island Sanctuary, not feeling like you had to go do Savage, but you weren't finished with the MSQ. You liked that week. Now that you see it post-Savage, do you still feel the same?
Yeah, nothing's really changed. Maybe they need to tighten up a couple of the early fights because of the gear that's come out. But I think it's awesome. And it's really cool to see the world first kind of bump their heads against 8 as they have. So yeah, I'm all for it. Keep doing it.
You liked it initially as well, Kronos. Are we still feeling the same about it?
Yeah, I just hope that the negative stuff, which is valid, I think a lot of the complaints are valid. I hope they address those, but I hope that they don't see those negative complaints as a reason to dial it back, because I think the 1 week delay is the best thing to do. It's really just the data mining stuff kind of has to be tied up.
Yeah, they need to patch it in.
Yeah, just do 2 patches. Just do 2 patches. No one's going to be mad at you for doing 2 patches, I don't think.
I mean, we had a maintenance, the next day anyway, so.
Yeah, so I mean,
the first time.
I think if you just do that, maybe the gear a little bit, but I actually think even with the gear, it's pretty tuned. I mean, the world first people. I mean, this tier took longer than last tier, but that's typically the case because the first tier is always typically a little bit easier than the second tier.
Setting things up.
But I mean, just if you look back, across, going back to Creator, which is kind of where they base a lot of stuff off, this is pretty similar to that stuff. And I just think the door boss is going to punch a lot of people in the gut. I think people are progging pretty quickly through 5, 6, and 7. But that door boss is going to knock on your ass. I promise you. He's no joke.
Would you... All right, so one of the things that... and I'm going to refrain from judgment just because I haven't done the Savage content yet myself. I still believe, though, that I like the 1 week gap. Mm-hmm. Particularly because I like to hit Savages that second week, because I'm generally going to pug them. Yeah, we'll run them in the free company occasionally, depending on how many are on, but it's not a raiding guild by any stretch of the imagination. It's a very casual, all my friends type guild. Excuse me. So, yeah, I'm a big fan. I was always waiting till the second week anyway. This kind of backed it out more. I didn't feel rushed on anything. Yeah. Just enjoyed it. But Yoshi P also said that a consideration would be made for maybe making it 2 weeks. That they weren't totally locked in on 1 week. They could extend that some more. He didn't say the words 2 weeks, but he said they extend it some more or bring it back to the same as the patch launch day. Is 1 week the perfect number for you, Tark?
Yes. I understand it for the beginning of the expansion because MSQ is a big chunk of content. And people want to get in the extreme trials because there's 2 of them, so they're working on that, and they're gearing up their initial tombstone gear. I think 1 is perfect for the 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the way to go. Absolutely.
Happy with 1 week? Would you like to see it a little longer, maybe 2 weeks there, Kronos, or is 1 week just that's the ideal butter point, baby?
I like 1 week a lot. I don't not saying 2 weeks is terrible. I think though if they did do 2 weeks, they would have to delay the tombstones and stuff, and then I think you're making people mad that aren't even raiders. So
Yeah.
I think one week's like the really perfect sweet spot. They just need to tighten the other stuff. Now, if the only way they can tighten up the other stuff is to delay it by another week, I'm fine with that. But also from like a greedy perspective, I'll just take the stuff earlier. I will say,
I mean, obviously you want the Savage and the Ultimates and
Yeah.
stuff now,
But
I see that as the point. I don't see them going to 2 weeks, and I personally wouldn't want them to, because then it does start to tread into that whole. Well, we're doing something to appease the 1 to 3% of players that are going to dive into this content and tear through it in a week or two. And it's the hardest content at the expense of we're inconveniencing, 50% of the player base that does the end game stuff, not counting the other 40x% that is coming up right behind them or just casually leveling other classes and doesn't care. So I think 1 is the magic number. One is the magic number.
Agreed.
Feels good.
North American Crystalline Conflict Community Cup. Say that 5 times fast.
NACCC.
Yeah.
NAC
Nah,
square. I don't know.
That has kicked off. That actually started today. So if you have not had a chance, you can see the tree. And Frosty's in it, right?
And Happy, right?
Is Happy? I don't know. I haven't
I
talked
think
to Happy in
Happy's-
a couple of weeks.
I think he's casting it. I think it's him and Frosty casting the tournament.
No, I think it's Brian Ricardo who's.
Oh no, you're right.
casting with Frosty.
It is Brian Ricardo. You're right.
Okay,
Right. Happy
yeah.
Happy's been casting the other like unofficial
Yeah,
stuff,
the
which has been
unofficial
really
stuff.
good. If you're like
Yeah.
interested in that stuff, it's been really good.
We did the European did this a little while ago. Now we have the NA community team. You can check out the brackets. I mean, we're not really gonna talk about it. Is anybody rooting for a particular team?
Not particularly. There, some of these teams are in that unofficial stuff, so I'm familiar with some of them because I do watch that just to like see what people are doing that are like much better at the game than me. So like it's cool to see them, but I don't think I'm like particularly rooting for any team.
Newest Girl says NA triple C. It's actually NA quadruple C.
Yeah.
NAC4.
C to the fourth
Yeah.
power, yeah.
Crystalline Conflict Community Cup. Crystalline Conflict. Yeah, there you go. Congrats to whoever wins the damn thing.
Yeah. PvP, the PvP changes, it got me excited to actually play PvP, but not necessarily indulge in it outside of the game. So I'm not really caring. Good luck.
Check out this tweet, this image created by Azuline on Twitter, AZULEAN _. I absolutely love this. Little Island Sanctuary action, where they have renamed their animals, as you do.
I have.
Or don't.
Or don't.
don't.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I'm a sucker. I do.
Have you named one Tarkov?
That's fine. It's just different types
I have
of
not.
players.
No. I named them after like pets of mine in real life and stuff like that.
Your children? That's just
No,
weird.
not my children, you idiot.
You said pets.
These pets are advertising the free trial. I don't know if you guys heard about it. Pretty awesome to not only name them this and hey, I'm going to take this screenshot, but Beacon isn't the most reliable of commands on the Island Sanctuary. And even when Beacon works, it doesn't guarantee they're going to stay in the right place for very long. So the patience that this must have taken, no restrictions on that playtime, by the way. No restrictions on that playtime if you want the free trial. It does kill me that there is a typo. I will be honest. It does kind of kill my OCD that there is a typo, but
yeah, it happens. I did see someone else did it. Like they did it like a raid group. Have you ever seen like a raid macro where it's like, so they had like all the animals in a circle and it was like R1, OT, R2, and like they were in their clock spots, like what you do in every raid in this game. It was kind of funny. And they were in the middle, like the boss, the character.
very, very cool. Dedication to their craft, indeed, chat. Dedication to the craft. Speaking of islands, how's yours doing, Tark?
I'm unstuck, thank God. So I finally got some calories and progressing, and I think I just a few upgrades from rank 8. So getting those rare animals and flooding my inventory with well, not my inventory, the island section inventory with all the mats I can handle, and yeah, it's fun. It's good.
So you're rank 8 or closing in on rank 8?
Closing in on rank 8.
Closing it.
I forgot that you could upgrade or renovate all the buildings. So that's a big chunk of XP that I'm going to get done here probably tonight.
Newest girl will be rank 9 at midnight. I'll probably ding rank 7 tomorrow. I've been treating it as like my log in once a day, do some things. Like I don't sit there and play it. I think I'm consuming it the way it was intended to be consumed, actually.
Are you trying to say that I don't play it as intended? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you definitely don't play it as intended. 100%. You do not play it as intended. So I'll ding. I have my 2 workshops and 2 granaries in the process of upgrading to rank 2s right now. That actually might be done by the time this show's over. I don't exactly remember what time I triggered that this morning. And so, yeah, I'll ding rank 7 either tonight or tomorrow morning when I log in and check that stuff out. So that'll be pretty sweet. I you know what? I'm enjoying it still. I still feel like this content probably isn't for me, but I'm going to max rank it and everything just because I know they're probably going to cram more mounts and minions in the future in this thing, and I don't want to be ranks and way behind. So it's one of those things that, yeah, fine. I'll keep it up to date, but I've been treating it super casually. I log in, I'll run dungeons or do whatever I'm doing, and then it's like, well, I'm not doing anything. Let's go putz around on the island for half an hour, tend to my crops, tend to my animals. Is there anything I can upgrade? Is everybody's shipping orders going? Is everybody's expeditions going? Am I good until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, schedule-wise? Cool. Like, I'm not scheduling things out 2 weeks in advance. Cool system, but no thank you. No thank you. Am I good until the next time I'm probably going to log on? Yeah? Okay, good. We're done for the day. So I'll be rank 7 either tonight or tomorrow morning. But, yeah, it's all right, I guess. Kronos, you've been 10 since like the day before 6.2 dropped.
No.
Right?
Yeah. No. I got 10.
Kronos hacked the game.
I got ranked 10 4 days ago. Somewhere in there. I've been ranked 10 for a few days.
Do you have all mounts and minions yet?
I have no. It takes time. I do have all rare animals though. Every animal in my pasture is either rare or because I think there's 17. So I have 3 unrare ones, but I have all 17 of the rare captures. The alligator and the gubu are the ones that gave me the most trouble, but
because they're weather and time based.
Yeah, there's the bug right now where you have to leave and then wait and then enter your island, and then sometimes they still might not spawn, and then you miss your window and it feels bad.
As soon as I saw in the patch notes and stuff and in the conversation about weather and time based, I was like, oh, cool. We saw how well that worked for the sightseeing log. Let's go ahead and do that again.
I guess
you don't
need them though. They don't drop unique mats or anything. They just look different. And then some of them drop some of the mats so every animal has a common and a rare drop. So if you want to really game it, you can do that too. But yeah, no, I'll probably have the bike mount this week, which is the most expensive mount. So that'll be cool.
You'll be riding your bicycle all over your island.
Yeah, you make it sound so much less cool, but I'm going to be doing that. So
I know you will be.
I'm going to be using my sheep that you gave
me. And it's not me making it sound not cool. It's not cool. No. You
need to reframe. I'm going to be flying around my island in my bicycle. Okay? Right. Get it right.
Now you need to put an animal in the front and name it ET, and then
I'm just going to buy the minion, and then I'm going to go stand at Mike's house, and I'm just going to.
Hey. I can buy the minion right now. I have enough, but I'm using it to continue getting to rank 10.
Okay, so we're gonna play chicken. I'm gonna play chicken. I'm gonna play chicken with Mike with the minion at his house and force him to buy it to put himself behind. That's what I'm gonna do. I can figure it out.
Not gonna work.
Don't pull it.
Not gonna work. I totally locked it. Friends can't visit.
Wow.
Before we, hey, can I come to your? Nope. Did you buy the minion? No? All right, yeah, you can come visit. No problem. Tark already has it, but
I made
put
a
the
boo-boo.
He put the afterburners on and made up some ground though.
Yeah.
Made up some ground. What did I want to show? Oh, this is what I want to show. Yes, right here. No, not what I wanted to show. That's what I want to show right there. This coming from Virgil X on Twitter. Virgil, love ya, love ya, love ya, love ya. Asking about, hey, my 1.0 traumas with Dalamud. I need more people to check if this glowing star was present before patch 6.2. Please do not look at their green flying mount in the middle of the screen. We are talking about this like white star in the sky there in the up left from where their minion is. And so there were a lot of people, Tark put this in the notes, that did start like chiming in saying, holy shit, what is that? No, it was not there. Now, to be fair, most of the speculation I've seen on this doesn't hinge on 6.2. Most speculation, which it initially did, people were logging into 6.1 contented characters to go see if this was there and stuff like that. But now, most people seem to think that it's actually tied to your completion status of Sigmascape. So if you have completed the scapes, then this star will show up, which then means it's probably Omicron related, right? I mean, that makes sense. But who knows, Tark? Maybe Dalamud 2 is back. I don't know. I don't know. I love that they do shit like this, though. And don't say anything.
Nothing.
And don't say anything.
It's just there.
Make up your own wild. Yeah, the Void Arc. That's what it reminds me of. People saw the Void Arc in the Sea of Clouds.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And they flipped out. One thing I will say, like, y'all have all done the Rising, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It had a minion, yes.
Okay, but did you watch the cutscene, I guess I should say?
Yeah.
Because I think
the Rising is one of the few ones I do.
He alludes, it's one of the few ones I watched too. He seems to be alluding to some sort of like either reset or like that. At least that's the way I take it. Like they're gonna, when the next expansion comes out, you're not gonna have to beat the entire story to start. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think we've talked about that before. Like that's how I took what he said. Like talking about like new adventurers and like all this other stuff. Like the way I took that was like, I feel like in the next expansion, and maybe this is part of that. That's why I was going from that. Like if this is kind of some kind of Dalamud situation, it would make sense. Like that's how maybe they kind of reset the playing field a little bit from an MSQ perspective.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked often on this show about they have to do something about that.
Yeah.
It's so far down the road now that when you literally talk about, even if you put on the afterburners and go through it, you're talking 50 to 100 hours of content for somebody that's just barreling through the content, trying to finish it and catch up. And when the other side of that is, if you don't want to do that, purchase something from the cash shop. That's a bad look.
Yeah,
that's a really bad look. They're gonna have to do something. And I mean, World of Warcraft and other MMOs have come up against the long-term MMOs have come up against this and had to solve it in their own ways. Right, World of Warcraft turning every expansion besides the current one into a leveling expansion. Right. With the whole Chromie feature. What story you want to play? You want to go play Wrath of the Lich King? Fine. Go through the Wrath of the Lich King storyline in Northrend. It'll get you from 1 to 50, and then you're off to Shadowlands for the new 50 to 60 content. Is Final Fantasy 11 or Final Fantasy 14 along those lines? They got to do something. I don't necessarily believe that same type of system works, right? Because the expansions aren't like a game, again, to use World of Warcraft as the example, where the stories are basically self-contained. Like, Shadowbringers isn't all that self-contained if you don't know about stuff from the previous expansions. It doesn't... Could you do it? Yeah. Does it lose a little something? Absolutely, yeah. No, see, Takal, the reason I disagree with you, normally I don't care. Normally I'm like, if you're a new player and you want to, catch up, then play through all the story. The only problem that I have with Final Fantasy XIV doing it that way, which normally I'm with you, I wouldn't care, is that side content is also locked. dungeons are locked, even if you are level appropriate for those dungeons for whatever reason. Maybe you went off and burned some side quests and did some leaves just to screw around with the system and all that stuff. But even if you are level appropriate, it's locking all kinds of content. It is not simply just play through this story to get to endgame. You don't see the problem, then we just disagree.
I mean, it's also hard to get like some of your friends in sometimes too, where like they'll be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you want to play with me?" And like, "Yeah, I want to do some in-game stuff." I'm like, "Okay, cool, go play this 110 hours of story."
Yeah.
Or shell out like what $60.
See, but
or
why
whatever.
would you say that, Takal? Want to do Omega? Do the damn MSQ? Why? The Omega storyline, as that example that you just gave, has virtually nothing to do with the MSQ. It's related, yes, but it's not the MSQ.
It's not like
content
the MSQ that we
you
got,
literally
this
don't ever
patch.
have to do it. Yeah, like this patch was a little weird, yeah, because that's how the game was designed. Oh, okay. So then that logic, I think, makes it that even if it's shitty designing, that we should just deal with it, whether it's Final Fantasy or any game, because that's how it was designed. No. Play it how they said to.
At Square and Yoshi P, I've always been willing to adapt and change things for the betterment. So I gotta imagine that they've got a plan.
By the way,
maybe
Takal and I don't disagree here as much as we're talking about through chat here. I don't think that they should go and revamp what they have already done to force it to fit that mold. I think they need to set a new path going forward.
I think they're going to give you a choice. Yeah, I don't think they're going to like delete the old stuff, if that's what you're saying.
Maybe, no. I'm not. Of course not delete it, but
I'm not going to archive it.
Yeah. No. He had to do X fights for the role story. But again, the role story is optional content. So maybe we don't disagree as much. Like, I'm not advocating for them to rewrite the past rules. I'm advocating for them to change the rules going forward. And we'll see if they do. It seems like, I agree with you, Cronus. Seems like they are teasing something
that's
along
what
those
I
lines.
felt. I mean, that's just how I took it. So I was interested to see if that's how y'all took it as well. And I saw some other similar stuff, like after I did it, people feeling the same way. So
Yeah.
I'm all for, going 1 to 150 and do all the content. Let's go.
Let's do it all. Hey, let's talk about some other Square Enix stuff. The Embracer deal is done. Dunzo. Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, all those IPs, they're now fully part of the Embracer group. So hopefully we'll get, new Tomb Raiders and new
Legacy of Kain.
Deus Ex, and of course, new Legacy of Kain. That didn't need to be said, but we're going to say it. Hey, by the way, while we're talking about pipe dream wishes, I know it's not something we normally bring to this show. It's obviously something we will cover on Gaming Gumbo, the gaming weekly wrap-up show Saturday night. But did you see that Konami announced at a Tokyo Game Show they'll be announcing a new project based on a beloved older franchise?
I love announcements of announcements. I mean, sick.
And knowing that you're covering on Gaming Gumbo, it's got to be Silent Hill, right?
I would hope it's Silent Hill. I'll take a Castlevania.
Yeah, it could be a few things.
Yeah, I mean, some people said Metal Gear. That's not going to happen.
Metal Gear online too.
I don't know. They might try to do it without Kojima.
Oh no, I'm sure they will try to do one, but I don't think you can refer to Metal Gear Solid as an older franchise. 5 was on the PlayStation 4?
Well, what do they mean by older? They mean like how long it's been since it's been released, or like older, like when
who
it
knows?
started?
It's Konami. It can mean whatever the hell they want. Anyway. Total sidebar. More on that on Gaming Gumbo. It better fucking be Silent Hill, is all I'm saying. But I'll settle for a Castlevania, which I think is far more likely. But there's just been so many teases about Silent Hill lately. Like, just so many that it has to be Silent Hill.
It's going to be a pachinko machine. They love making those.
It'll be a Silent Hill, and it'll be freaking awful.
Sad.
And then I'll just be doubly sad. I waited X years for this. Anyway. All of those studios now part of the Embracer group. We will have to keep our eyes peeled, although it's not something we would cover like all the time on this show. Since a couple of these were like Square Enix related, we will probably bring it up to you just to say, hey, this is what they're doing with some of those things. Castlevania remasters absolutely push numbers, particularly the first one. Although the second one didn't do as well because they made some design mistakes that unfortunately were a small part of the game, but they were at the beginning of the game, so everybody saw them. The stealth missions, that was total ass. Anyway, sidebar. That was likely the reason for what we saw happening on the Square Enix store page this week, too. I did not need to pick any of this up, but maybe you guys did. You know, I already had everything I wanted from this page. We saw, like, that Square Enix just trying to move stock, right? Like, Marvel Avengers Collector's Thing, $4. Marvel Avengers, $2. Guardians are not Guardians of the Galaxy. There was a bunch. Like, I'm showing the Marvel Avengers page now, but like Tomb Raiders, Guardians of the Galaxies, they were all on sale. They're gone, by the way. Like, if you hit any of the links in these, you cannot get them. But they just fire sailed this shit.
It's probably because contractually they can't sell it anymore, right? Like after the
I would imagine
finalized.
I would imagine there's something there.
Probably after September, no more.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing you want is any digital codes that you've generated not getting any revenue, right?
Right, yeah.
Because you do have to generate codes and keep that bank. And yeah, you're just like, oh, they're codes. What do they do? Well, make some revenue off them is the answer. If the other option is I got to throw them away.
Nope.
So, and some physical stuff, that shit you want out of your inventory.
I feel like there should have been a fire sale at Avengers a while ago, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, maybe like 3 months after launch.
It was like up to 90% off. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Everything must go, dude.
There was a Tomb Raider bundle that was still listed at $201. I'm like, that's just retarded.
No, it was 20.
Maybe it was originally $201.
Yeah, it was originally $201. Now you can get them for like 21. For like 21.
When they announced like the push into PS5 and the kind of remaster-ish, I picked up that bundle at that point. So I'm good on all those titles.
Yeah, I had the ones I wanted. I was done. I was all set. We say farewell to all of those studios, and we're eagerly awaiting what's coming from them. We're also going to say farewell to Deep Down Insanity Asylum. You have no idea what I'm talking about because you live outside of Japan.
Yep.
That's closing on October 31st. Square is going to, they've already disabled real-time or real money currency, but that
here's the saddest part about that. It didn't even make it a year.
No. Nope.
Trials and tribulations of mobile games.
Those are things you can't buy. So let me show you some things you can buy. How about this? Square Enix. Oh, it just was announced today, but there's a dope Final Fantasy TCG playmat and promo package that's going to go on pre-order on Square Enix's site on like the 15th during Tokyo Game Show. Mm-hmm. It looks awesome. I didn't put it in the show because it just broke this morning, and I love FFTCG. By the way, catch our live locals games Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern. We've been streaming them live. They are also put up on YouTube. This past week, you can check out on YouTube 3 rounds of local gameplay where I take a deck from Steve D at the YYT, a Final Fantasy TCG content creator, and I run their deck through 3 rounds, and you can see how I fare. If you have a deck you want me to run at locals, go ahead and throw it with an FF Decks link in the comments on that episode. We've got 2 different Tifa figures that are going up for sale, approximately like $150 for each one, like $140, $150 for each one. Of course, we have the PlayArts Kai figurine, fully posable, interchangeable parts, all that fun stuff. What do you think, Kronos? Can I interest you in one of these?
Is that their official image that you have on screen?
These images were yes. Yeah. They do have the Square Enix copyright in them.
I feel like Capcom could sue them for this. This is like
no. I have no idea who you're talking. Who?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Sure. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Maybe a character that's been around for like longer than Tifa called Chun-Li. But it's fine.
Sorry.
She looks cool.
I'm sorry. I don't think I know a Miss Lee.
Yeah.
Miss Lee.
Yeah.
Ms.
It's
Lee.
okay. I mean,
Yeah, I
they
thought
probably
the same. I
can't.
mean,
But it's
everybody
like,
thought the same thing. It
yeah.
was just like, nice.
I mean, they probably
pose.
can't, right? Because I mean, it's definitely Tifa, but it's just like it's just a very iconic pose. But I mean, no, it looks cool. I don't usually buy these, but I think they're cool, and you know, a lot of people that I know that do buy them, they really enjoy them and like put them up in their like collectible areas and such. So,
That's a good question. I don't know if that skirt portion is plastic or if it's
it
It being
looks
more of an action
kinda-
figure and posable, I'm guessing
like
it's
that
plastic.
soft
Yeah.
rubber.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, but it could be something different.
I'm not a big fan of the Play Arts one, but the other one,
Oh, so you like this one, huh?
the statue one, yes,
You like this one.
that one's I love Tifa.
Now, this one you cannot pose or anything. This is the part of the static arts line. So what you see here is what you get. You like
So
this.
good.
You prefer this one. Why? You don't,
know.
you don't
She
want to
just-
Chun-Li her up?
I'm just
Still
I'm
looks
not
like
into
Chun-Li.
the. Yeah, it still looks like Chun-Li a little bit. I don't know. I just think it's a lot cuter, and I'm not needing posable like the bendy knee. That kind of throws me off on the previous one.
Looks,
so I was
looks like an
"Eh."
action figure, kind of.
Yeah, it looks like an action
Yeah,
figure.
yeah.
So I prefer statues for my collectibles. So
Yeah, Tifa with lightning leg action.
Hasn't appeared in the kimono style dress yet. So now we've got the first two. We'll probably get the third one at some point. I mean, they're beautiful. I'm just generally not into buying them. I'm not. I mean, as you can see in the background, I've got a little couple statuettes of came with collector sets and stuff. But I'm not
same here.
I'm not terribly like an action figure or play art. I think they're gorgeous, but I just they're a little too expensive for my tastes and not exactly what I want to collect.
Square's pricing on most of the merchandise is just insane.
Oh, it always is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They used to get these out for like the TCG tournaments, and like I would keep the plushies and stuff, but these I would just be like, okay, who wants this for $100? Like,
Yeah.
Immediately sell it. Tokyo Game Show, I had mentioned a little earlier. We are coming up September 15th through the 18th. Tokyo Game Show. Square Enix will be at the event. And we haven't seen the official list from Square Enix yet, but we have seen what they submitted to Tokyo Game Show and put on the Tokyo Game Show site. So according to the Tokyo Game Show press release, not Square Enix directly, these are the following games that you can expect Square Enix to show off at the Tokyo Game Show. Forspoken, duh. Valkyrie Elysium, also no-brainer. Star Ocean 6, The Divine Force, Romancing Saga, Minstrel Song Remastered. The Diofield Chronicles, Nier Automata, End of Yorha Edition, Harvestella, yay. Tactics Ogre Reborn, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, Dragon Quest Treasures, Dragon Quest X Offline, Dragon Quest X Online, Infinity Strash, Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai, Final Fantasy XIV, Power Wash Simulator, Final Fantasy VII, Ever Crisis, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Interesting.
God, I hope we get a lot of information or some information. Maybe a beta date on Ever Crisis, please and thank you. But I'm looking forward to this whole slate for the most part, except for Power Wash Simulator. Oh my god! Can't believe that's a
Shut
game.
up, dude. It's addictive. Shut up.
they're gonna show a 30-minute gameplay video for Power Wash.
Just nothing but ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I'm obviously I like the slate. I do like the slate. However, two notable omissions. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't be at the show. It just simply means that according to Tokyo Game Show's press release, they're not planned at the moment to be at the show. Could be they just didn't want that in the press release. Who knows? Or they're just not at the show. Kronos, what do you think of no Final Fantasy XVI and no Dragon Quest XII?
Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about Dragon Quest, so that doesn't really bother me that much. But it's surprising. 16 is even more surprising. Maybe they just feel like they haven't made enough updates. I know Yoshi P is on that side of the fence where he doesn't want to like drip info unless he feels like it's like new info. But part of me just feels like that's what we're going to get for Final Fantasy VII Remake. But I hope I'm wrong. Maybe this speaks to the fact that maybe we're going to get more of the stuff that's announced. But I just want to see more of 16, man. Like, I just want to see more of that game. So I'm kind of sad that it's not on the site. Maybe it'll be a surprise. But I feel like that's kind of like a little bit of copium, I don't know, whatever you want to call it these days.
We do have, as chat points out, the Game Awards coming up, Tark. We fully expect 16 to be there in December. So maybe it is we don't really have a lot to show, so we're only going to go to one of the two, and we've got a ton of stuff that we really like to go to Tokyo Game Show and get the word out, starting with Forspoken, number one on the list as far as marketing, because Square Enix is basically they've basically done everything they can to slit that thing's throat before they send it out the door, and it hasn't even been reviewed or anything. I'm kind of amazed we didn't see Dragon Quest XII. Literally to date, Tark, the only thing we've seen on that is the title splash screen still.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, I've seen more about Dragon Quest offline, 10 offline than I have about 12. It's just kind of crazy.
Which up to date now, maybe it'll change at Tokyo Game Show. I'd love it if it did. Is a Japanese only thing.
Yeah. God, wouldn't that be amazing if we got
like
an announcement?
Online is already a Japanese only thing, and they're probably going to be talking about their expansion for it. And the offline mode is still publicly, at least, only acknowledged as a Japanese release as well. And again, it's Tokyo Game Show, so it makes sense to absolutely bring those things, not just for the streaming audience, but for the local audience. It's freaking in Tokyo. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, when you're sad about your games only have a splash screen for like a year, just think of Metroid Prime 4, and then you feel better about your game. So that's fine.
So sad. Or Silent Hill, you get PT and then you get ripped away from you, so it's fine. It's all fine.
Speaking of Dragon Quest, Koichi Sugiyama, composer of Dragon Quest, who hasn't exactly always been on the right side of social issues.
He's on the right side, the far right side.
Well, he's not on any side now. He died a while ago.
Yeah.
So last year, right? No, 2020. When is it? 2020?
Middle of COVID.
I don't remember when he
last
passed.
3 years are a blur.
Yeah. 2021. Yeah, 2021. Anyway. Little controversy as far as different social issues, reproductive rights, LGBTQ or LGBTQ plus community stuff. Lambasted the United States for asking them to asking Japan to apologize to the comfort women who were basically sex slaves for Japanese soldiers during World War II. Basically said that never happened. That's a historical fact. It did. Not great on that front. Passed away in 2021. There's actually now being a TV drama made about his life. This may just come from not being intimately familiar with his personal life. Like maybe he's had a bunch of trials and tribulations that are worth exploring in a TV drama. I only know him as a composer in a game that I like, who late in his life, I became aware of social issues that he and I did not share the same opinions on at all. But yeah, this seems a little weird to me. Like a TV drama about a composer who's primarily known for composing music in video games. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch one based on Nobuo Uematsu. But it would still seem weird to me that there was a TV drama, not a documentary.
Yeah, I think Uematsu might be significantly a happier show than whatever this is going to be. This is probably not going to be, I don't know.
More of a comedy.
Well, maybe not a comedy. Maybe just really dark and I don't know. I don't know what to think of it, though, but it's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. I mean, yeah. Not a great person. Hey, Tark, before we part ways here on today's show,
Sure.
you have been playing Live Alive. You've been streaming it here on Saturdays and Sundays on your stream at midnight Eastern time on Saturday. And midnight Eastern time on Sunday, too.
I was gonna have to take a back seat on Sundays now, but yeah, okay.
Oh, are you going
raiding.
at 2 a.m. again or something?
We're raiding again.
Oh, you're just canceling that stream.
Yeah, we go 3 hours.
That might be useful information for me.
Well, yeah, I was going to talk to you about it.
Yeah. 2 days beforehand. I appreciate the notice. No stream from Tark on Sunday, gang. Saturday night, midnight. But you'll be playing Live Alive. I played and recommended, hey, you got to check this out when we saw it was being remastered. I had played it on an import way back when. Loved the remaster. Now that you're a couple play sessions into it, you're not done yet. Give us your take on it. Is it everything I pumped it up to be as far as if you like classic JRPG and you never played this, you have to pick it up, or do you disagree?
It's kind of weird. I really like it. I'm going to start with that. I really, really like it. The individual stories are all very unique from one another. So the Distant Future completely, got a 2001 Space Odyssey vibe to it. The Wild West one got a little bit of comedy in it. You got the Prehistoria, kind of throws me back to Chrono Trigger and being back in the prehistoric times there. So they all have a big, unique feel. Some of them have more combat than others. Some have like trap mechanics, which is kind of interesting. I haven't pulled everything together, but I'm really liking the variety of stories and play styles. It's a lot of fun.
No clue, no guesses on how stuff starts to pull together?
Yes, we did get a little bit. We noticed that the bosses' names are kind of similar. Oh. Odio, or Odeon, or OD10. Yeah, a little weird. But I did kill a super boss last Saturday, so that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you have to keep us posted as you're going.
Absolutely.
Last thing, gentlemen, we did, although we don't see Dragon Quest, we do get to see a little new Star Ocean video. We've been bringing these to you as they come up. This one focusing a bit more on the gameplay, combat, skills side of things, villains, your own buddies, stuff like that. And more importantly, like I said, skills and actions. That's the part I was really interested in, because I'll get the villains and the buddies and stuff through the story. Show me that combat. Show me the skills. We've seen some early takes on it. Now we see a little more in-depth. Have you watched this? What did you think?
I checked it out.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, it looks fun to play. I still am, like, for some reason, not super vibing with the way this game looks. It's the faces.
I'm fine with okay, I was just going to say, I'm fine with the way the game looks, except their faces. They are a little weird.
I don't know. It's just
a little weird.
It's hard for me even to like put into words like what, like it's almost like some of their faces are like too long, and then where like their hair. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really care, but the combat actually looks really cool.
I am so glad that it does, though, because faithlessness, integrity and faithlessness and integrity, whatever it is, I can't remember off the top of my head what order those two words, nonsense words, come in, was so bad. And literally, if this does not do moderately well, Star Ocean's done. And we said that on this show before. They're just integrity and faithlessness. That's the order. Okay.
I'm still worried about it a little bit.
I'm still a little worried about it. I'm going to be worried about it until we start seeing reviews and stuff. Yeah. I will certainly buy it. I like Star Ocean enough. Yes, I agree with Chad. It has been hit and miss. It's kind of like they had a bunch of hits and then a lot of misses. It's not really, hasn't really been a back and forth thing. I will buy it, but I am worried that, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. My other worry too, even other than just that, like if it's just straight up bad, is like, what if it's like actually pretty good? Like, can it even meet Square Enix's expectations to make a Star Ocean if this game's good?
Square Enix's expectations.
Right, but it's an Eastern title, so it doesn't fall under the expectations they always put on the Western titles from their stable.
Yeah. Sure.
That, and I mean, I think even they have to look at, I can't imagine them looking at this any other way besides like, all right, we got to get to 1 million copies or this series is done. Like, I can't believe they're looking at it going, this is going to be our blockbuster of the summer or the winter or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no way that they're dumb enough to look
I mean,
at it that way.
I hope not. I hope not.
What's going to sell better, Tark? Star Ocean or Forspoken? Make your prediction now.
Oh God.
From what I've seen, like, I like to talk about how a trailer, moves the needle up or moves the needle down for me. This trailer moved the needle down for me. The character models and their faces, it just weirds me out. It made me want to install Phantasy Star on the PlayStation now that that's available. So, maybe I'll be doing that to get my Star Ocean fix. Or sci-fi.
I mean, you got
RPG
Star Ocean on one side, established franchise across generations, but has been on a downswing for a while. Forspoken, that has at least started finally releasing better snapshots of its gameplay with much more realistic visuals, but carries an unknown IP and all of Square's marketing snafus. So who sells more?
Again, I was overwhelmed by this trailer. So right now, I'm gonna go with Forspoken. I think they're trending up with Forspoken, and it's either even or down with Star Ocean.
So not a day one for you yet?
Right now, I'm like waiting for a deal, maybe $30, and I'll pick it up.
Kronos?
So I think what makes this question hard is I don't know how well Forspoken is going to do overseas. I feel like Forspoken is like really geared toward our audience, like the Western audience. And I think Star Ocean typically is an established franchise that like does okay overseas. Even the bad ones, I feel like didn't do super awful. Maybe the last one was really bad. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up, to be honest. So just on that alone, I feel like Star Ocean's going to outsell it. Just because I feel like even if Forspoken does okay, I think it's going to mainly be carried by over here. But maybe there's more overseas like interest in Forspoken than I'm giving it credit for. I do think Forspoken looks better graphically than this game, by like not even close.
Yeah,
who is the source on the Famitsu? I mean, that's the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 versions of Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness sold a combined 175,000 copies in Japan as of September 2016.
That's not great. I'm trying to think, like, what was the last like one that people like? What's the Xbox 360 one that was like okay? The one before that one?
Last Hope.
Last Hope. Like, what are the numbers on that? If you have it offhand, I don't want you to waste too much time though.
For Last Hope?
Yeah. Because maybe I'm giving this game too much credit overseas. Then that could be also true.
Yeah,
Maybe
Japan saw is like this is a train wreck.
I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't really enjoyed this series since like the third game, and that's even pushing it. Like the second game was where it peaked for me.
Oh yeah, Second Story. So good.
The game sold 166,000 copies in its first 4 days on the Japanese market, placing it third behind Blue Dragon and Tales of Vesperia for sales of Xbox 360 games. 24,584 Xbox 360 units were also sold along during that same week. Last Hope has since become the best-selling Xbox 360 game in Japan with 208,438 units. As of May 31st, 2009, which was approximately 4 months after launch, the game had sold 450,000 copies worldwide.
Okay, so I'm going to change. I think Forspoken, and knowing that data now, I think Forspoken's going to outsell this game. Just on Western audience alone, probably. And if Forspoken doesn't,
awesome.
If Forspoken doesn't outsell this game based on those numbers, then God help Forspoken.
Yeah.
So
Vesperia was really damn good. Really damn good. Yeah, I'm going to go. My heart wants to go with Star Ocean. I think.
Use your brain.
No, I'm going with my heart. I'm going with my heart.
Oh, my goodness.
I think Star Ocean is going to do enough that it'll pull its Eastern audience that it normally will pull and not pull in Integrity and Faithlessness. I think Forspoken, for one of the reasons you already talked about, that it's aimed at a Western audience, and two, honestly, Square is just literally tripping over itself to not sell this game. Like, it's absolutely not doing itself any favors. So I'm going to go Star Ocean. Let's go and do Love It or Leave It. Love it or leave it is the way we end every episode here. By the way, you can feel free to chime in on whether Forspoken or Star Ocean will sell better in the comments on ReadyCheckRadio.com or on YouTube, whichever you're watching. And if you're listening on all the audio places, thank you so much. Give us a like and a review on those while you're there. This is the way we end every episode. I'm going to give you something Square Enix related. You tell me whether you love it, want more of it, or leave it. There's no fence sitting here. Last week, after Forspoken's gameplay trailer, we said, hey, based on everything we know about gameplay so far, love it or leave it. So, of course, it would only be appropriate this week if we did the same thing for Star Ocean, gentlemen. Star Ocean's gameplay, based on what we know so far, keeping in mind that Star Ocean has a few more videos that we've talked about than Forspoken does that show off various smaller bits of gameplay rather than a big 10-minute splash like they did with Forspoken. You're allowed to take all of those videos into account, all of the information into account based on what we know so far. Kronos, I'm going to throw it to you so far.
Yeah, so just the gameplay, I'm going to say love it. I think the gameplay looks pretty good. Like I said, my issue is like, am I going to enjoy looking at the game while I'm playing said game?
Yeah.
But I think like from a gameplay perspective, it looks pretty fun. Looks like there's a lot going on, a lot of like different mechanics to use. You have like the robot that you can like do different things with and like attach it to people. So like it looks like it's pretty deep and fun, and the different characters look like they're going to be somewhat unique. So I'm excited to play it. I just don't know if I'm excited to look at it.
Chat giving me shit for going with my heart. And I know I'm going to be wrong. I totally accept that. But I'm going to go with my heart and stick with Star Ocean. Forspoken will probably sell more. But I'm going to bet my heart, Star Ocean. Yeah, I'm going to go love it, too. The faces weird me out. But I am far more hopeful for this version of Star Ocean than some of the more recent ones. Newest girl saying even the Star Ocean gotcha game shut down. Yeah, that is true. Shit. I really should have picked Forspoken, shouldn't I? I really should have. But I'm going to go with love it. Tark?
I'm going to have to go opposite you guys. I got a little bit of sensory overload. I think there's maybe a little bit too many mechanics. And maybe as you play the game, they layer it appropriately, give you a little bit here, a little bit there. And it builds to this moment where you're doing all these mechanics and you got all this stuff going on. But I just felt a little overwhelmed, a little bit of sensory overload. So as of right now, I'm going to leave it. And again, the game doesn't look all that great. So yeah, it's definitely not a day one purchase as of right now.
All right, let us know how you feel in the comments below. We will, of course, be back with another episode of the Relic Grind next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, but don't miss Gaming Gumbo this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern as well, where we wrap up the week in gaming and have a lot of fun. Until next time, Kronos, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, same as always, Twitter. NFL season's about to start. I know a lot of people that watch this podcast definitely love football.
Hell yeah.
So I'll probably be talking about that. You can see my mounts as I collect them for Violent Sanctuary. That should be hopefully in the next few weeks. And then hopefully I can get some Savage cleared. So I'm going to try to get P7S done this week, but I got my goal done. P6S was my goal. So, yeah.
Nice. Tark.
Twitter, YouTube, all at Tarkov Gaming. And then here on the Relic Grind on Thursdays. And now just Saturday for Live Alive.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at Magic Man 1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO. And you'll get a tweet every time we go live with one of our podcasts, our Final Fantasy TCG streams, or any streamer not streaming on a Sunday night. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.